Museum, Tyavna's icon painting school. The museum was opened in 1984 under the auspices of the National Endowment Fund, 13 Centuries of Bulgaria. The building was built from 1938 to 1943, with funds donated by Her Majesty Queen Joanna Savoyska. The architect is the well-known Jordan Sevov. The building was intended as a chapel to the Preventorium, which today is a children's specialized hospital for pulmonary diseases. There are over 160 original icons in the museum's exhibition. They were collected from the churches of the Veliko Tarnovo diocese, and at the time of seizure, they were not in cult use. The collection is organized and arranged thematically. Some of the best examples of the prominent Tyavna iconographic families are shown chronologically. The stages in the development of icon painting are traced. The oldest icons from the collection, painted in the 17th to 18th centuries, are in the narthex. A separate place in the exhibition is also allocated for the iconographic tools in the creative studio, where we can peek and get an idea of the technology of creating an icon. The Museum of Asian and African Art in Tyavna is one of Bulgaria's 23 unique museum sites, the only one of its kind on the Balkan Peninsula. More than 400 exhibits from Nepal, Tibet, China, India, and some African countries, dating from the 2nd to the 20th centuries, are displayed, mainly for a cult purpose. The exhibits include statues of Hindu deities, cult objects related to Buddhism, and African masks. The collection is vibrant. It was collected for over 35 years from the world's 5 continents and was donated by the Bulgarian sculptor Zlatko Paunov. The largest share of Buddhist art is in the collection. Most objects have a ritual purpose related to worshipping Buddhist deities. Already in the museum lobby, the visitor is greeted by a pair of ancient mythical creatures called Pu or Pishiyu. They are considered among the greatest creatures for attracting wealth and luck. According to Feng Shui, the Pu couple brings 3 types of luck: heavenly, earthly, and human luck. The tanks in the collection are made on cotton or silk canvas with water-soluble paints, mineral and vegetable pigments, and adhesive solution. The tanks are priceless, as are the sculptures of the various Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. The second hall presents the Hindu religion, and one part of the collection is dedicated to African ritual masks. the rich collection proves to be motivating for many donors. The House Museum Angel Kanchev in Tyavna is one of the recognizable, attractive, and richly culturally and historically significant sites of the Tyavna Museum. With its authentic atmosphere and convenient location in the center of the Revival Reserve, the Angel Kancheva House is an attractive place to encounter the history of our national liberation movement in the 1860s and 1870s. As an architectural type, it is one of the oldest traditional houses in Tyavna, with a stone ground floor on which the wooden plank floor is located. It was built around 1805. The documentary exhibition focuses on photographs and information about the most important moments of the revolutionary's life and revolutionary activities. The museum also traces the participation of Tyavna residents in the liberation of Bulgaria, Haidushko movement, Velchova conspiracy, the detachment of Haji Dimitar and Stefan Karadja, the April Uprising, the Botev detachment, the Russo-Turkish War of 1877 to 1878. A weapons collection is presented, orders, medals and decorations from the battles at Shipka, Shainovo and Stara Zagora. Popangelova House is the oldest preserved building in Tyavna, built in the second half of the 18th century. Tyavna Revival architecture is a true phenomenon of national nature. In 2023, the newest museum from the large family of the Specialized Museum of Wood Carving and Iconography in Tyavna was opened. The construction exhibition traces the stages of development and achievements of one of the founding stages of the Tyavna Art School. In the exhibition of the House Museum, you can see skillfully crafted models of emblematic Tyavna buildings, a model of the town square and the clock tower. You will experience an actual three-dimensional digital image of a now lost cultural treasure, such as the colorful fountain. The exhibition also features replicas of architectural plans and drawings created by the hands of the great Tyavna carpenters. You will learn about the undisputed masterpieces in the architectural art of architect Dimitar Sergiev, of first master Gencho Kanev the Great, of Gencho Novakov, of master Georgy Kolev, and many other representatives of the oldest direction of the famous school. The Rykova House is an architectural monument of national cultural importance. It was built by the great Tyavna master architect Dimitar Sergiu and represents one of the peaks of his architectural creativity. The farmer, Nikola Raykov, had trade offices abroad. Familiar with European life, as early as the middle of the 19th century, he brought into his house, as legend has it, the first bed in Tyavna, Viennese tables and chairs, samovars, forks called bonnels, and porcelain plates. Here you can also see one of the first secular dresses that appeared in Tyavna in the 19th century. The House Museum is the birthplace of Professor Pencho Rykov, who worked in the field of organic, inorganic, and analytical chemistry, constructed apparatus, and wrote over 100 scientific papers, some of which are of global importance. Most of them were published in German journals. Professor Rykov was one of the founders of the Bulgarian Chemical Society in 1901 and of the Faculty of Medicine at the university. He was a member of the Bulgarian Literary Society, today the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences. To be transported into the academic atmosphere of that time, we have to look at the documentary exhibition. The Tyavna School is one of the first secular schools in Bulgaria. It was built from 1836 to 1839. On St. Dimitrov's Day in 1839, it opened its doors to its first students. It is also called Slavekovo School, since the famous Petko Rashov Slaveykov was one of the first teachers here. The museum that the school is home to today will captivate you with 5 permanent exhibitions. Here you can see a collection of old clocks and timekeeping devices, a reproduction of the school's classroom, a documentary exhibition tracing the educational work in Tyavna. Collection of paintings by the talented Tyavna artist Ivan Dimitrov. He was the first Bulgarian artist to exhibit his works in the famous Parisian salons. He held the first solo exhibition in the fledgling, newly liberated Bulgaria. The Old School Museum also houses the largest exhibition of paintings and sculptures by the 2 brilliant Bulgarian artists, Dimitar Kazakov, Nero, and Nikola Kazakov. The donation of the 2 brothers includes over 500 works of painting, drawings on terracotta and faience, and wooden and stone sculptures. The museum in Daskalova House is the only specialized museum in the country for woodcarving art. The Tyavna School is the first art school, as many sources indicate. It is original. There are few foreign influences in it, and they are so creatively transformed that they are not noticeable. The stages in woodcarving art go from the simplest shepherd's carving through domestic carving to the most perfect form in this craft, namely church and open-work carving. All of them find a place in the exhibition on the museum's first floor. There is a wood-carving workshop and tools used by master carpenters. The collection is on the second floor, including 10 sculptural figures of Bulgarian rulers from the First and Second Bulgarian kingdoms, numerous bas-reliefs of the revivalists, carved panels and consoles. All of them are the work of Master Gensho Marangozov, who worked at the beginning of the last century. Two guest rooms of the house, which became the arena of the first artistic competition in our lands, are of the most significant interest. From their ceilings shine the two sons of Tyavna, the work of Usta Dimitar Oshanetsa and Master Ivan from the village of Bochukovtsi. They made the two ceilings in the distant year 1808. Petko Rachov Slaveykov is the titan of the Bulgarian revival. His merit and role in the church national struggle of the Bulgarian people are immeasurable. He is one of the leaders who led to the restoration of the Bulgarian Patriarchate and an independent Bulgarian church through his active awakening activity for national consciousness, awakening and enlightenment of the enslaved Bulgarians. On St. Dimitrov's Day in 1849, Petko Slaveykov was accepted as a teacher in Tyavna, his father's hometown, and on the bitter winter morning of January 25, 1853, Petko married Irinka Rykova, heiress of one of the great and prominent Tyavna families. Petko and Irina moved into the house that their father-in-law had given them. Petko Slaveykov's family lived in this house for 23 years until 1876. The House Museum has a rich documentary exhibition in which visitors can see the history of the Slaveykov family. The exhibition's domestic part presents the family's personal belongings, as well as the table at which, according to legend, the great poet Pensho Slaveykov learned to write.